Hello everyone, it is I, the Fable of Fables. How you all doing? We recently reacted to the Mayhem Attack Squad. So I thought, why not check the Autobots counterpart, the Wreckers. Let's go. Hopefully these guys aren't super evil or something, because I'm gonna cry.
You kept asking for them, so this week, by popular demand, we're looking at the history of the toughest Autobot commando unit around. The team they call in when all hope is lost, for whom victory and tragedy go hand in hand. It's the basics on the Wreckers. The Wreckers were created by British writer Simon Furman in 1986 for the Marvel Transformers comic published in the United Kingdom. Debuting in the seminal storyline Target 2006, the team was part of the Autobot resistance on Decepticon-controlled Cybertron, a close-knit special ops unit who took on the dirtiest, most dangerous missions, distinguished by their immediately iconic catchphrase, "Wreck and Rule." The Rough and Tumble team consisted mostly of characters from the 1985 and 1986 toy ranges who, for one reason or another, were not appearing in the comic book published in the US. The Jump Starters, Topspin and Twin Twist, the Deluxe Vehicles, Whirl and Roadbuster, and the Autobot Triple Changers, Springer, Sandstorm and Broadside. Rounding out the group were comic original characters, Rack and Ruin, a pair of Cybertronian conjoined twins, and the team's leader, Impactor. Target 2006 followed the Wreckers as they prepared to enact Operation Volcano, a deadly gambit that involved luring out and ambushing 10 of the deadliest killers the Decepticons had. Their chances of surviving the mission relied on backup from the mighty Autobot warrior Ultra Magnus.
Oh my
But
god.
when Magnus was called away to Earth, the Wreckers considered abandoning the whole thing, before coming to the conclusion that the Autobot cause was bigger and more important than they were.
No, don't risk your guys'
only
lives.
Impactor laid down his life, sacrificing himself to save Autobot resistance leader Emirate Zaron. And Springer succeeded him as commander of the Wreckers, leading the team through their numerous appearances over the next several years' worth of comic stories. After a battle with the time-traveling future Decepticon Galvatron left their ranks decimated, the Wreckers ceased to be, joining forces with the similarly shattered remnants of their Decepticon counterparts, the Mayhem Attack Squad, to form a new unit named the Survivors.
Oh, man.
The Wreckers were one of the most famous and fan-favorite parts of the UK comic.
I can see why.
Among the characters and concepts that Simon Furman imported to the US series when he took over writing it in 1989. American audiences wouldn't get their first taste of the Wreckers until 2001 in the Transformers Universe comic book available exclusively through BotCon, the official
it's Rodimus
Transformers
Prime.
convention. But BotCon's version of the team was a successor to the original, from the future timeline of Beast Wars and Beast Machines, with its own unique insignia and an all-new lineup of Autobots, Decepticons, Maximals, and Predacons, including Rodimus, RC, Cyclonus, Skywarp, Tigatron, and convention-exclusive characters like Ape-Link and Primal Prime, among many others. It was Dreamwave Productions who, in 2003, introduced the classic Wreckers into American comic books. But at first, it seemed as if they were unsure if they actually had the rights to do so. Because when the team first appeared in the pages of the miniseries War and Peace, Marvel original characters Rack and Ruin and Impactor were absent, with Ultra Magnus in the leader role in reference to his association with the team in the UK comic. And the unit wasn't even referred to by name, with only an in-jokey reference to the group showing their opponents the true meaning of the word wreck, alluding to their identity.
Oh my god.
Still, the later series, The Dark Ages, by Simon Furman, would feature the team by name, establishing that in this continuity it was initially founded by Springer as a splinter faction of its own millions of years.
You know, it would have been nice if you guys would have, found out ahead of time before making this. It's not, I feel like maybe, I don't know, I feel like maybe there's a lot of stuff going on, politics that make it hard to, but still ask.
Years ago during the war on Cybertron. If Dreamwave had been unsure about using the Marvel original elements of the team's history, the next Transformers comic book publisher, IDW Publishing, had no such hesitations. Simon Furman featured the classic team of deluxe vehicles, jump starters, and triple changers in his Stormbringer miniseries in 2006. And in the years that followed, the team's roster would gradually expand as they became the stars of some of IDW's most celebrated stories in a trilogy of landmark miniseries by writer-artist Nick Roach that really dug into the idea of what such a team meant.
Wait. Is that Cup? Is that Chip Cup? Yeah, it's him! It's my boy!
Exploring its infamously high mortality rate, its psychological ramifications, and its blood-stained legacy.
Jesus Christ.
The first of these, 2010's Last Stand of the Wreckers, reintroduced Impactor for the first time since the original UK comics, depicting him as the team's former leader who had been stripped of his rank after disobeying orders and mercilessly executing the Wreckers' arch-enemies, the Decepticons Squadron X.
Jesus,
Last
dude.
Stand featured a new iteration of the Wreckers, adding seasoned Autobots Cup and Perceptor,
Yeah, it's Cup.
first-timers Pyro, Rotor Storm, Iron Fist, and Guzzle, and
Ooh,
human
Iron
member
Fist?
Verity Carlo, as they were sent to liberate the Autobot prison Garrus 9 from the Decepticon sadist Overlord. The sequel, 2015's
Is that
Sins of
RC?
the Wreckers, added RC to the team as they embarked on one final mission to rescue Prowl from the clutches of Tarantulas and were confronted by all the terrible deeds of their past. And the trilogy's final installment, 2018's Requiem of the Wreckers, focused on Springer and Impactor as they put the past to bed and opened up an optimistic future for the team with a new generation of recruits.
Aww.
The same year as Last Stand took the Wreckers to new heights, another new version
That
of the
Omega
team was
Supreme?
introduced in the Aligned continuity. Their story was told across several pieces of media, including novels and, most notably, the Transformers Prime animated series, marking the Wreckers' first time on television. The Aligned Wreckers began life as a team of vigilante heroes defending small communities against gangs of raiders and barbarians back in the early days of Cybertron before the war, subsequently becoming official enforcers of the law during the planet's golden age.
Oh, God.
Their roster included members from both the classic Marvel and IDW versions
Is that
of the team,
Wheeljack?
as well as Prime cartoon characters Bulkhead and Wheeljack.
Yeah.
You know wreckers don't call for backup. They call for cleanup.
Bulkhead
Oh,
would later
damn.
transfer to Optimus Prime's unit, and when Ultra Magnus was appointed leader of the team to bring discipline to its unruly ranks, Wheeljack found his officious command style intolerable and also left.
Damn.
Magnus and the remaining Wreckers initially stayed behind to defend Cybertron when Optimus Prime's forces left the planet, until they too were forced to abandon their world. But Magnus
Yeah,
would
that must
later
have
be
been really
reunited
bad.
with Bulkhead and Wheeljack on Earth in the third season of the Prime cartoon in 2013, setting their old differences aside and forming a new Wreckers team with human ally Miko Nakadai. That same year, aligned versions of classic members of the team were released in toy form as part of the Transformers Generations Fall of Cybertron line. Twin Twist, Topspin, Whirl, Roadbuster, and the first ever Impactor figure, who together could combine to form Ruination. A combiner whose
Ruination.
head was based on that of the team's old
I like it. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know about all of the combiners we have in the story and like in the lore. I just think that it's funny that a lot of them tend to have like very interesting names, like Devastator and stuff like that. Monstra, the dude I saw earlier, I can't even remember his name. And now Ruination.
boss from the Marvel comic, Emerald Zaron, and who was the first ever toy to wear the unique Wreckers insignia created by BotCon 12 years earlier. The live-action movie universe featured its own unique version of the Wreckers, introduced in 2011's Dark of the Moon. A three-man team consisting of Roadbuster, Topspin, and Leadfoot. They were vicious fighters even by the standards of the movie universe, but beyond that they didn't have a lot in common with the classic team beyond a few
Oh, Jesus,
reused
dude.
names. Depicted instead as a trio of unlikable antisocial engineers who all transformed into NASCAR track cars. All of these are just some of the most high-profile incarnations of the Wreckers. From comparatively obscure beginnings, they've grown to become a common, recurring element in Transformers stories big and small. Simon Furman was finally able to introduce the team into the US Marvel comic continuity in the 2013
Hey,
revival
it's Wreck and
series
Ruin.
Regeneration
Wreck and
1,
Ruin, sorry.
even paying homage to both IDW and the movies by adding Cup and Leadfoot to its ranks. While a version of the classic group would even be incorporated into the original Generation 1 cartoon timeline by manga published alongside the Transformers Legends toy line in Japan. Stories from the official Transformers Collectors Club have revisited the BotCon Wreckers from the early 2000s, and debuted a second combiner version of the team, able to merge into the giant warrior Wreckage, released as toys via the club's figure subscription
I kind of feel that kind of makes more sense given the name of the fact that they're Wreckers.
service in 2017. And even though they've entered into the mainstream after all these years, that hasn't done anything to dilute their status as fan favorites, as proven by the fact that in 2018, Impactor won the latest Hasbro fan poll to earn himself a toy in the upcoming War for Cybertron Siege line. It seems as long as there are Transformers stories to tell, as long as there are Decepticons to fight, as long as the odds are slim and the stakes are high, the Wreckers will always be there to wreck and rule.
That's kind of cool, though.
And those are the basics.
I like them. That was neat. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, I'll probably, I don't know words. But yes, chat, it's really neato burrito. Thank you for coming. I hope you all enjoyed. I know I did. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know who your favorite of the Wreckers is, because they're a pretty cool group. I'm probably going to post this one with the other one. Anyway, love y'all. Bye!